Hello everybody. This is just going to be a quick video. I wanted to talk about, the last video I talked about like how to make some CBills and the fastest ways of doing that. Obviously there's like premium time, things like that I didn't cover. But you know, doing it with spending no money can be pretty difficult. So I just wanted to show you guys who might be new like me and not very good at the game, like me, a good way that you can make a bunch of CBills by building a mech that's somewhat decent. If you take your cadet bonuses and things, and even if you've blown them on a whole bunch of pointless stuff like I did, like I got my cadet bonuses and all the rest of it, and I just bought the mechs that I love from the miniature game, and so now I have nothing left to rebuild, you know, good mechs and stuff with. So I had to make do with what I had. So even if you don't have a lot of CBills to start with, what I'm going to show you here today is how you can build something that is pretty decent and is going to get you some cheeky CBills while still making you help your team, right? So what I would suggest doing, you could do this on any mech, but I would highly recommend getting a heavy mech of some description which has missile hardpoints, right? So in this instance, like, you could do this with the Panther if you wanted to, but the problem is the longer that you last in combat, the better your CBills are going to be, right? So if you haven't yet spent a bunch of CBills, get yourself a heavy mech, or if you have got a heavy mech, make sure you've got one with missiles. And while ideally you'd want something like a catapult or a vulture or something, you know, more suited to missiles and with more missile hardpoints, you can do this with literally any mech with missiles. So I've got my Orion here, the 1M Orion. And let's have a quick look at my loadout. So last night I was playing around trying to find a good balance. And this is sort of what I come up with. Now, you don't need to have an Orion to do this method. All you need to know is, I guess, how you can take these ideas and put them into any mech that, you know, you're going to use. So what I've done is I took out, normally the Orion has an LBX 10, an LB10X AC, whatever it is, I can't remember what they are. I hate them. The you know, autocannon thing. It has a bunch of ER large lasers, and it has an LRM-20, right? So what I've done is I have stripped out all of the large lasers but one, and put and left that. Now you want one decent heavy weapon that you're going to be able to use in case you get into trouble, right, in case things get up close and personal. And I would highly recommend a laser, because you're not going to run out of ammo on a laser, right? So, but it's up to you, whatever mech and whatever playstyle is fine, but you want at least one hard-hitting weapon that you can do. And you want some heat sinks that are going to take all of your heat for that weapon or whatever. And then basically, what I've done is I've just added a bunch of LRM ammo. I've got my LRM, and I've got an additional LRM5 because I had a spare slot. Now, this particular Orion comes with an arc. If you didn't have one which had an arc, you know, if you don't want to use an arc, that's absolutely fine. You could replace that with an LRM5 or something, and just use the LRMs. But the narc is also helpful because you can get bonuses to tag friends, and it also gives you, you know, you can tag someone with a narc, and that helps your team, and that's going to help you guys A, win, and B, get a spotting assist. The way the narc works is you have to be within, I think it's 400 meters or 450 meters, and then you shoot them with the narc, and if they have ECM, it cancels it out, right? Pretty straightforward. I also have AMS, anti-missile systems, and I put some anti-missile system, I put an extra lot of ammo in there for that, and the reason for that is, again, that survivability. The longer you're there, the better you're going to be. I switched the missile guidance system over from normal LRMs to Artemis. If you can do that, that's good, because it means more of your missiles are going to hit. But yeah, basically all you do is you build a missile boat, and you sit at the back, and this takes a bit of adapting to get used to the playstyle. So you just sit at the back with all the big boys, and because you're in a heavy mech, that's absolutely fine. And then you just target things with indirect fire or at a distance. Now, the trick is to keep an eye on your distances. The thing that I forget is remembering that there is a range on these. It's 1,000 for LRMs. I don't know if clans ones are different, but that you have to be within that 1,000, otherwise you're wasting your bullets, and you might be like, oh, I feel like I'm helping, but you're actually not. So the trick is to find ways to not draw attention to yourself and shoot from a distance. And you can do the same thing with the ER laser if you really want to, but the problem with the ER laser is it does definitely draw attention to you because it shows a direct line of fire to where things are going. And just be smart about what you're doing. You can run away and, you know, retreat tactically and then come back. And I found that this is a great way to... So normally, if I play in one of my light mechs, I might be lucky to pull in... you know, I usually pull in an average of about 80,000 CBills a game, which isn't that much. And if I'm in a heavier mech, like, say, the Thor, then I will, you know, pull in probably a little bit over 100,000. With this build, I've been pulling in consistently 110,000 CBills, pretty consistently. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You just sit at the back and you launch your missiles long range. And then once, you know, you run out of ammo, then you've got your large laser or whatever it is that you're going to have, your big hitting weapon, which has a decent long distance, is probably a good idea too. If you get into trouble, you've got your large laser to take care of it. It's not a problem. But the key thing is, your goal is to be a big coward and to hide, right? That's what you're aiming to do. Not hide from battle, but definitely make sure that you're not the center of attention. And that's why I think a heavy mech's better than like an assault mech. Like, you could very easily make up a build which has you know, like an Atlas, which is similar, or something like that. I don't know what the builds are for assault mechs, but you can definitely do that. But that's going to draw attention to yourself. And the same is true if you take a catapult or a vulture. There's a good chance that people are going to know that that's the strategy you're using and really focus on that. And with an Orion or something similar, you can sort of trick them into not realizing that's your strategy. They're expecting, you know, some long range laser and you know, autocannon firing stuff, and that's just not what you're going to give them. And that's, again, the element of surprise can sort of help with that. And you know, they're used to seeing you up front, so they're thinking you're not dealing that much damage, when in reality that's what you're doing. So that's my tip for you today. I hope that's helpful. And hopefully, if you have some CBill getting tips, let me know. If you have any ideas for how I can improve my strategies and my builds, let me know. And today, what my plan is to see basically how much I can earn in you know, a couple of hours with this guy by just doing that exact strategy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and ciao for now.